eyes or have your eyes closed, whatever you prefer. And welcome. Welcome to Satsang. Good to have you here. So we have the eclipse coming. And so today I wanted to talk about extremes. The shadow, the light. So in this meditation, in our meditation, we have the opportunity to really know ourselves, to really know the truth of who we are. And the extreme is, the truth is, who you think you are, it's not who you are. It's not who you are. We've become so transfixed by the form, by what we see, by what we touch, that which arises in our awareness, in our external awareness, we've become so hypnotized by that we look for ourselves in it. We look for the truth in it. We look for meaning in everything. And the truth is, it's meaningless. It's all meaningless. And yet, that's our habit, to look for ourselves, to look for truth within everything, as if it has meaning. And it's stunning. It's a stunning extreme to recognize that most people, most of the population, is living in this absolute dream of having no idea who they really are. They think they're the form, they think they're the name, they think they're the personality, they think they're the psyche, they think they're their thoughts. God help us if we're our thoughts. Right? Because they change constantly. One day it's a good thought. I feel good about myself. Oh, I'm all right. Next day, maybe I'm not all right. We never have the same thought twice, even about the same object. So our thoughts aren't a guide to who we are, to the truth of who we are. So that's one thing. We're not who we think we are, typically, unless you're in a very wide awake state of being. And even in the journey of awakening into the truth of who we are, awake, asleep, because the habit is so strong. Lifetimes of learning how to misidentify ourselves, how to look for ourselves, our happiness, to look for our experiences and everything around us, forgetting that nothing is happening out there. Every experience you're having, your experience right now, is happening within us. My experience of you is happening in here. Your experience of me, you're having different experiences of me right now. How is that possible? Am I doing two different things? Am I saying different things? No. You're hearing the same thing. It's just that your experience is happening within you. So we have the opportunity in this life. We have this beautiful consciousness is turned on in such a way that we actually have the opportunity to allow the God consciousness to awaken within us, to know itself. We just typically, most humans, aren't looking, aren't offering themselves up, aren't offering up their life experience, their life stream experience, their soul's experience to be available to the one consciousness, to awaken. We're so preoccupied with trying to know ourselves. The greatest gift we can give back to life, for the life that we've been given, is for it to know itself through us. That's our primary reason for being here. Does that make sense? Yeah. So, this question of who are we, really? It's a journey. It's a journey for that question to become answered. And the answer, who are you really? Are you your name? Are you your thoughts? Are you this body? Are you ultimately, eternally, this experience that you're having, this human experience? It's a temporary experience, right? Just like every thought is a temporary experience. It's a thought form. Everything we believe we are is simply a collection of thoughts that we've put together in a convenient construct and called it us and called it life. And they're just thoughts. What a wild thing to think that we are navigating this beautiful, precious opportunity called life and trying to make sense of it and understand it using only, primarily, our thought forms that come from what? We're just making stuff up. The experience of who we are truly, the eternal, infinite, one consciousness that we actually are, moving through this vehicle of us. We're misidentified with the vehicle. We're less identified with the truth of what the aliveness is moving through us. That aliveness, that richness of who we really are, the mind will never understand it. Can't. It's too big. It's too much. So for instance, we'll do a little exercise. Close your eyes for a moment. And I want you to use the mind to understand and know and experience everything right now. Experience, know everything. Let the mind try to grok, try to hold, try to bring in the knowing of everything. Every microbe, every bug, every flower, every tree, every star, every dust speck, every color, every mood, every emotion, everything. And the mind can't do it. It can't do it. You know, we could start small. We could say, okay, just imagine a flower. Oh, it's beautiful. I can imagine a flower. Okay, imagine a field of flowers. And actually take in the beauty and the nuance and the preciousness and the sacredness of not only every flower, but every petal and every stamen, and then every bug and every bee, and hold them all, the magnificence of that, and then add in some trees and a mountain and some dirt and some rock. And the mind just, it loses it. It can't. So let go of that. If the mind can't do it, who are you prior to mind? Without mind, prior to thought, prior to all beliefs, all constructs. And that experience will typically come through a sensation. It comes through this beautiful body that we have, which is an amazing antenna and an amazing tool for being able to feel into an expanse that is beyond what the mind can comprehend. So we drop down below the mind and let ourselves have the experience that only comes from a surrendering of the mind. Who you are is energy, is love, is the one consciousness that moves through us, typically as energy. It's not a thing. You are not somebody. You are not something. You are the infinite, eternal consciousness. Happens to be moving through the form of you, and we misidentify with the form, forgetting that we are God. We are the one. Everyone is. Everything is. And when we first start to inquire and investigate into those arenas, into those areas, and start to ask that question, who, if I'm not this mind, and I'm not these thoughts, and I'm not this construct that's been put together over lifetimes of belief systems and ideas and perspectives and positions and put them all together as, oh, okay, I think I've got a handle on me. And it turns out it's just another collection of, it's just a construct, it's just made up. If I'm not that, who am I? What am I? And initially, for most people, you may get a glimpse or a glimmer, and then it's just too big, so it can fade. Which is why we have our practice, to keep coming back to it over and over and over again, through our breath, through our quietness, through stilling the mind. To come back to this knowing that is too vast for the mind to comprehend. And it takes a while for that cultivated feeling that starts to blossom and starts to expand, to grow, to take root. It's already, the thing is, it's already there. We're not creating anything. We are simply dropping slowly, little by little, the habit of thought and the habit of identification and the habit of where to look for ourselves and the habit of having to assess and interpret and find meaning in everything. We're letting go of that habit so that we can just surrender to a experience of truth. And that experience of truth typically takes a while to bloom and mature and blossom. It's actually already blossomed. We're just removing the darkness. We're just removing the habit of thought. So the inquiries are one of the most beautiful and effective ways to move into and to understand and to awaken into our true identity, our true self, which again is the one consciousness. Not the form, not the body, not the name, not the personality. All those are temporary and all those are made up. So I wanted to invite today, what came through this morning to speak to was a technique, a practice, not even a technique, it's just a pointing of our awareness, a gentle pointing of our awareness to be aware a little bit differently than we're normally aware. And the invitation is, the issue is that we've named everything. We name everything and it separates it. Oh, tree. Oh, Vanessa. Oh, chess. Oh, plant, bird, sky, stars, sun. We've named all these things because it's convenient. It helps us talk about them. But then we start to see ourselves separate from them. Well, that's sun. This is chess. Okay, separate. And it's just become the habit. So try this. What if you would allow everything that arises within your awareness, even your thought forms, but for now we'll just take objects. And first I'll say that the still mind is a mind that isn't always assessing things and interpreting things for our relationship to it or its relationship to us. The still mind just witnesses. It doesn't even, and a really still mind doesn't even name. But when we know our wholeness, our eternal infinite nature as the God consciousness, then there's nothing to, I don't need to assess everything as to, well, is it valuable to me or is it a threat to me? Because the me that I think it's a value to or a threat to is just a thought form, a construct. If I know myself as God consciousness, there is no threat. There's no threat, there's just isness. There's just the isness. Just is, just is. But it might destroy you. How could it destroy me? I'm infinite, I'm eternal. The image of self can be destroyed. And that's what I do every time I sit in meditation. It's like, remember to, it's just empty. All thoughts are empty. So in our meditation, we don't have to worry about if thoughts come and go, I got to get rid of the thoughts. Initially, just practice, recognize, all thoughts are empty. They're just made up. They're empty. Oof, okay. So the practice that I'm inviting is, what if you would let everything that comes into your awareness just be, without even having to name it, not even identifying your thoughts about it. Oh, I'm not naming it, but it's beautiful. Well, that's giving it an identity. So look out the windows here. Look out at that beautiful nature. And what if, instead of seeing a tree, you just recognize, God. Not rocks. No, just more God. Not birds, not quail, not pinyon jays. Just, oh wow, look at that God moving. It's just color, just form, moving. We've named it. What if we just recognize that what it really is all the same, it's all God. Not be, just more God. And then you start to swim in it. You just start to recognize, wow, it's all the same. It's all one. Different forms. But what if I stop naming all the forms? They start to blend. They start just to become all beautiful, all God, all one, all perfect. And then we turn that attention toward all the people that we meet in life. And they have names, and they have identities, and they have personas and personalities. Interesting. That's all temporary. What's the truth? Just more God. And then turn that attention to yourself. And go, oh wow, just more God. Just more God. And there's a part of our ego that says, no. That's a bit big. Yep. Yep. What if the entire planet right now woke up, everybody woke up with the ability to look about them and look within them and say, beautiful, wow, look at that, it's all God. No more need for separation. We have that opportunity with every breath. Mostly we forget because we have a habit, so we practice in our meditation. Put down the image, put down the illusion. What you truly are is the beautiful just energy of life. Now, I know we have that experience, right, where we feel like there's times where we go, wow, there's like this aliveness within me, right? There's this fire. That feels good. And even that we've misidentified as, oh, there's a fire, this aliveness, this energy, this love within me. No. You are the love. You are the fire. You are the energy. It's happening within a temporary vehicle that we've named me and have identified with, oh, that's me. No. Temporary. I am that which breathes life into this form. So it's just a constant practice of remembering, oh, that's right, I'm not the form. I'm not the thoughts. I'm not the construct. A common experience is that as we start to see the illusion for what it is and we start to disassemble the construct, it's not like we automatically, typically for most folks, we automatically have an amazing, oh, there I am. God, this is amazing. This feeling of bliss, this feeling of it's always been there. Typically that doesn't just arrive. For most people, when they start to drop the construct, the illusion of, wow, what if I'm not just all these thought forms? What am I really? The answer to what am I really is met with a sense of nothingness. Because it hasn't been, it's kind of like walking out of a dark, dark, dark room into the brilliant sunlight. At first you just can't see a damn thing. So let that be okay for a while. Let whatever comes be an understanding that whatever comes is still just not even close to being the real truth of the bliss, right? God consciousness, that which creates, that which breathes life into, that which is everything, is us. That's going to take a while before that really can be grokked by the system. So we initially will encounter sometimes just a barrenness, and that's why a lot of people abandon their practice. The ego convinces them and says, yeah, you gave it a shot. You went quiet, you tried to be still, you asked into who am I really? The answer wasn't really clear. It wasn't this beautiful aliveness, so I'm going to go back to my old habit of finding my aliveness through my experiences. I'm going to go back to finding my happiness through my experiences. I'm going to go back to finding my love through my experiences, because that's what I know, and I bet I can get pretty good at it. And I can probably manufacture and create a whole lot of love and happiness and bliss and joy out there. Because I tried it by going quiet. It was kind of dissatisfying for a lot of folks. Let it be dissatisfying for a while. Because I think we've come to recognize the futility and the insanity of trying to find it outside of ourselves through all these experiences that are completely temporary and come and go. So we are not who we think we are, typically. And the other extreme is that life, what we think life is about, is not what life is about. My life is about doing satsang. My life is about paying my bills and having my relationships and eating my food and creating a beautiful life and even being of service. My life is about that. That's what I do. And I can do that with as much clarity as I can to try to get my persona and ego out of the way so that I can live a life that is informed by the one consciousness. But really, what is life about? Is constantly getting out of the way so that the one consciousness can awaken to itself through me. That's what my life's about. That's what life can be about. And then that one beautiful, what words can never capture or describe, that one love, that one consciousness, that one aliveness, can move through and blend with my unique soul signature, my individual life stream, and the two of us can play. And we can play in all manner of ways. And it doesn't matter, ultimately, as long as the main thing is that the God consciousness is able to wake up within us. Because we're wired that way. We've been turned on that way to have that ability, to have an imagination, to have the ability to feel into and understand with the body, understand and experience. It's, oh, there's my persona me, my image of me, temporary, and there's this eternal nature. You know, I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure a cow isn't doing that. It doesn't have that ability to play with consciousness. That's the thing. We get to play with consciousness. So play with that. Look around, go through your day, and remind yourself on a regular basis to stop naming things and just go, oh, more God, more God. I'm swimming in it. It's all around. It is me. And it just becomes this fluid, beautiful experience. And as we talked about at the very beginning, whenever we're looking at any form of truth, the first thing we're going to encounter are all the ways that we're not living in truth and that we're blinded by the illusion. So if that comes up as shadow, if that comes up as difficulty and confusion and doubt and fear, beautiful. Everything arises so that it may pass. We just need to be grounded enough in a truth of self to be able to say, okay, I know that I'm the one. I'm starting to get a sense of that. Maybe I've got enough of a sense of it, I can anchor to it enough so that I can then be with my shadow and be with my lifetimes of illusion that are falling away and scary as they fall away, because I think I'm losing a sense of identity that I've gotten so habituated to. And if there's any fear or uncertainty around that, you can now be with it, knowing that you're tethered to a little bit of truth. If somebody isn't doing any work around opening up and exploring and investigating into the true nature of who we really are, if they're not doing any of that, if that isn't at all present and all they've got is this human psyche that's trying to figure itself out, boy, it's really easy to get lost in that world. To get taken away by the shadow, to get lost in the lost. So ground and anchor through your meditative practice. And you can use your meditation for all manner of things, but what I'm inviting is to use your meditation as a vehicle, as an inquiry into the true nature of being. So you can sit in the quiet, in the stillness, drop out of the mind into the body, and different techniques for doing that. And let the mind ask the question, who are you really? What is this fire, this aliveness that you can feel sometimes? And what if actually you're that? And with every breath, it's like having an ember. With every breath, you're just blowing on this aliveness, this spark that you're finding. That feels like it's within. That's okay. And then you start to recognize that that is you. And this old identity of you, this old image of you, the name of you, and the construct of you actually falls away. And this aliveness, this truth, this God nature completely takes up residence. Imagine that. Completely takes up residence as thank you. Thank you for doing your work and getting out of the way and doing some investigation so the illusion could fall away and we could live in actual truth. And that can last 10 seconds or 3 seconds or half a day or a day, and ultimately it can last a lifetime. Whew. And the times that we go back asleep become shorter, and the times that we're awake become longer. And the time we go back to sleep, the sleep becomes less deep. And the times that we're awake, the awakeness becomes more deep, more expansive. And that's the practice. So keep doing the practice. Keep sitting. Keep going still, going quiet. Playing with, well, what if I stop naming things? And follow teachers. Listen. Listen to Adyashanti, listen to Gangaji, listen to Sat Shri, listen to Muji, listen to me, listen to other teachers, listen to whomever you can on a regular basis, because that's one of the quickest ways to come back to truth. When I lose it, when I'm just in my shadow and I can even sit in my meditation and I can't quite find the aliveness, the truth, because the shadow's dense. So thoughts are dense. They descend, they drop down into us and they smother truth. So we're all upside down. We're trying to figure life out in our minds and then thinking, once I get it all figured out, I'll drop that truth into the body. It's all empty. It's all just smoke and mirrors. So feel into what does it feel like to be alive, and let that truth arise. So when I am having a hard time letting that truth arise, and I've got just a density of thought going on, I'll go draw a bath and sit and open my laptop, not plugged in so I don't electrocute myself, and I'll just bring up one of my teachers. And within a couple of minutes, it's just like, oh, that's right, thank you. I needed to have this conversation, This is why we hold satsang, to have the conversation. And lastly, I'll just say, be clear about what you want. Most people don't want to awaken. They say they do. And what they really want is a more spiritual ego. What they really want is to put together a new construct. I want to put down the lack of self-worth, and I want to put down the lack of self-love, and I want to be more gracious and loving and kind and aware, and I want to be that construct. But it's just another construct. What you find is that when you really, really let go of all the illusion of image of self, and you let this truth of self, it's already blossomed, but to know it, to shed light on it, to start to see it and know it. As that starts to happen, you actually don't have to practice gratitude anymore. You don't have to practice kindness. You don't have to practice being loving, understanding, accepting, compassionate, non-judgmental. It just is. But most people don't want that because it seems like too much work. It is effort. It is not quite efforting, but it is time. It takes discipline. And I can tell you, for me, man, when I was younger, discipline, commitment, dedication, screw it. That's not freedom. I want to live a free life. Don't give me discipline and dedication and commitment. But now I recognize that that's my freedom. Committed to waking up from the illusion. That's freedom. And it won't come. It just rarely, every once in a while, you can be Eckhart Tolle and sit on a park bench and go. But for most of us, it is a loving practice. Every day, throughout the day, even for little moments at a time. 2 to 5 seconds, stop. Take a breath. Look around. It's all God. Stop. Take a breath. Drop down into the body. Is there a little spark of aliveness somewhere in there that you can breathe a little light onto, a little attention, awareness onto? That's it, and go about your day. So sit in your practice, do it on a regular basis. It just becomes a new habit, a new honest habit. So let's open it up for any questions or ideas or things that are interesting that you want to explore. What is this nature of awakening, being a human? Awakening into
I don't have anything
yourself.
right now.
Yeah.
When I first awakened 3 years ago, I did have that aha moment happen. I knew nothing about meditation. First one, I've always I told her that I grew up awake. I mean, I was born awake, and I didn't understand why I was in this body. So for 34 years, I had a problem looking at myself and saying, why am I here? And I told my parents that you are the biological body's parents. So that, and even my name, when people would call my name, it would take me a while to answer. Feeling homesick, at least it would last like 2 weeks every month.
Yeah.
And I never understood. I grew up in the Philippines. So 3 years ago, I had high blood pressure, left a 12-year relationship, and I couldn't afford medication anymore, which killed me anyway. So I got into meditation, and I was at the lowest point of my life. But I said, one person who's happy, it represents the entire human being. So I said, I want to know what these people do. And one of them was meditation. And it was hard, but within 3 weeks, I was able to numb my body to, it was like 30 minutes into it, I left my body. I was going like almost what I could call 3,000 miles an hour. But I would open my eyes and I would see I'm still in the room, and that just blew me away.
Yeah.
And the moment I said my body, because I kept asking, where am I going, where am I going? And finally I go back, when I say body, I go back, and then I could see 2020 for the first time since I was 10. And I could hear things far away. From that moment on, I knew it was not my body. And then this other big thing that happened was I met my higher self, which I didn't know I had. And it was like, the best I could call is like all of a sudden I'm a tree, and it like connected to everything that's ever been created. And then everything was me and I was them. And since then, I feel in love all the time.
Yes.
For no reason.
Yes. Yes.
And that put me so high that I didn't understand why I need to be, the whole being with someone was such a human thing. But I'm like, I'm in love all the time, so why do I need to be with someone? But, apparently that's part of my mission, or whatever it is I'm supposed to do here. And the other big thing that happened is this went into a bigger state, was that I went to quantum healing hypnosis, and they called the superconscious. And my ego met this consciousness, but this consciousness was me. It looked like it symbolized itself as a nebula, both the light surrounded by darkness. And it was the balance of both. But it was one being, and what it was just, it wasn't even love, it was like pure knowledge, pure mind. And I looked at it, and it was me, and I kept, what are you saying, and it kept saying, be quiet. But it was me, it was you, it was everything that has, and this is again, not even, it's just creating a veil, words cannot explain it. It was everything and nothing. It was past, present, future, and everything in between. It was nothing and nowhere.
Yes.
It was everywhere, nowhere.
It's amazing when you take all the parameters off, isn't it?
It was. That's the best I could do, is remove the parameters. It was.
Yes.
It was you, and then since then, the way I live. You talk everything that is God. I've learned that every reality is just a projection from the 0 point, is the best way I can explain it. and you just move through sort of this reality, and I can almost feel like, so again, it's the best way I can, this is obviously not, this is all just symbolism. So as I experience Earth, everything is an aspect of me, and vice versa, into this one.
Yes.
Mind.
Right. Words are tough, aren't they?
I know, I can't even explain it, but I feel it's almost like,
Yeah.
so the best, you know, the cone, the structure of, so if this is source, like I can
Right.
feel that, like how I can affect, I can feel all the dimensions, like, you know, because what they're doing here is obviously creating this, but even though what you think is separate, but it's almost like, I can't explain, it's like moving through a sea of everything.
Yes.
But within, but it's so oh my gosh, see, I can't explain it.
So where I'm curious. This is beautiful, and I totally feel it.
Do
I
you
mean,
know? Yeah.
I what's sweet is being in your truth, being in the way you're describing your experience. It's just, it strengthens, you know, those around you. It shifts. You carry that where you go, and I appreciate it because, you know, I'm impacted. My experience is impacted from your letting go and surrendering. But I'm curious. So what is interesting to you, or curious to you about how that is currently showing up? Because it's a constant evolution of knowing, of like, oh wow, didn't see that coming, right?
Yeah. It's okay, so everything that I see is me, and it's like meeting myself. But it's not, me as in like the one.
Yes, the
Consciousness.
true you.
Yeah. And it's always, and it's all I see when there's bad. I see where it's almost like this sort of pattern of where it balances somewhere in the world or universe. And it's, you can't, I just surrender, because I really can't judge, because I see the harmony, the harmony at play. And it's, and then it's always like, God.
What do you surrender to?
It's, you know, it's the separation that everything.
That's what you're surrendering. What do you surrender to?
It's just, I guess the lack of a better word is the oneness.
There you go. That's it.
It's just, it's almost, when I move through anything, I go, how's that? You know, I always go, was that a good experience? You know, because you're almost like looking within, for whoever is sort of animating you. But obviously there's multidimensional, and tapping into other realities, you know, just these versions of you. And again, I say I can't even, it's so limiting, the words. I wish I could just project, because it's beyond. But what's hard for me is really, because I've been separated from my ego, it's more of the balancing now. You know, okay, now I've accepted my body, now I've accepted my name. Because I've always seen everything as a role play. It's a play.
Yeah.
But obviously, I
How
don't,
beautiful for you.
I don't understand sort of, as much as I love the five senses, I also, as the human being, it's just so heavy.
Yes.
And, but it does give you that amazing experience, and the knowledge that you gain from here is unlike anywhere else.
That's right.
Is the most.
There's a purpose for this. There's a purpose for just to let it be and gain. If you're in a relationship, you're not in a relationship. That's the one is going, yay, thank you.
Yeah.
I get to experience this through you, and I wouldn't get to experience this except through your unique soul signature of how you're playing with
like
it.
you know, like just the plants. I always. It's God, it's you, but it's you as that, like living as that, and it's what I find amazing is really because of I've seen the one conscious, just pure knowledge. It's almost like, oh my God, I'm adding knowledge to that knowledge.
Yes.
You know, and everyone is, and the chemical reaction between just the projections or personalities or
Yeah.
things. Like every time I the dirt, the air, I talk to it. It's God. And when I went to the vortex, it was like seeing a movie star.
Yeah.
I mean, the Boynton Canyon and Bell Rock and all of these, they're beings, and it's just.
So you get to play.
Yeah. It is hard though, like you said, the ego will always do. You still, it's balancing that ego. It's almost like, okay, I still have to be that because I can't function here if I don't. It's just more of like you don't get attached to it. But
That's
again,
right.
It will do anything to tell you I'm here.
Yes. Yeah.
And there's layers that you have to sort of pierce through, and that's where I'm at. It's like kind of, but yeah, I mean, like when you listen to teachers, and I always have books in my car to just
Come back
remind
to
me to come.
We're so surrounded by, I mean, I would imagine this is your experience as well. We are so absolutely inundated with the dream, with the illusion. Right? It's all around us. It's most people we encounter are living that. So it can be really difficult at times to live amongst.
Yeah,
And
especially when you see who they really are.
yes.
And that's what I was telling you. It's so hard to like.
So what can you bring? What can you go back to? What can you embody? What truth do you keep coming back to that allows you to meet the ugliness and the difficulty and the confusion and the uncertainty and all the ways that people that you meet don't know who they really are and are acting out and in the projection and the illusion? Yeah. What's the one thing you can keep bringing? Keep coming back to?
Truth.
Looking, I always see.
Seeing them as God.
Yeah. Right.
Seeing them as you. Seeing them as a mirror.
Yeah.
A reflection.
Yeah.
A fractal.
Right. To get out of our habit of self, because where when we are in judgment or hate or fear, that comes from where? Right? Yeah. So it's beautiful, to have, what a gift to be able to be in the truth and have it be so known and so trusted that then you can just look at them and say, not come through like if I meet somebody and I'm judging them, I can guarantee I'm judging through my construct, through my history, through my childhood, through my habit of belief systems. And when I can go, hold on.
It tastes weird.
It tastes weird.
That's what I always say.
Yeah, it's like this is the beautiful thing. So the body is such a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful tool for telling us when we are believing or acting in a way that isn't in alignment with truth, right? It tastes weird, it feels small, it just goes,
We're like a little spectrometer.
Yeah.
Like receiving all of the data.
Yeah.
And we ignore so many parts of it, some people.
It's
and
true.
sometimes when you have the information that you know.
And oftentimes don't we find that we will want to make the other person responsible for the fact that I'm now feeling funky and I'm feeling small and I'm feeling angry and I'm feeling judgmental and I'm not feeling loving and all of that, and it doesn't feel good.
I do my best to take personal responsibility even if it hurts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's just me believing something that isn't true.
That's my perception in this moment, and it's not clear.
Yeah. And
It's
who's
cloudy.
the my? Who's the my? Whose perception it is?
Yeah. The egos.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah.
What a joy.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a joy.
It's a gift to get to play in this life and interact with people and be in the unfolding and what shows up and just keep being with what keeps showing up and keep showing up for what's showing up. Because
Ain't that the truth? Exactly.
because it's all like we were talking about this is like this co-creation, but it's really what you're asking for. All your prayers are being answered in every moment, and it's if you choose to see it, if you choose to be with it.
There's a wonderful phrase about what is, because we're talking about and living and practicing, being with what is. And a way to help remember what that really means is what is what is happening just before you have a thought about it.
I like that. It's so true.
As soon as you have a thought about it, if we're ever wondering, where's my peace? Oh, there it is, just before my thoughts.
Right before I started thinking about peace, there was my peace.
Yeah.
There was my quiet.
It's already there. This is the beautiful thing. And we learn to stop. We learn to stop looking. Stop the seeking, the trying to make, the trying to manufacture, the trying to create. Maybe if I have better thoughts, Maybe if I construct my life in such a way. And it's helpful to construct a life. You want friends around you. You want an environment around you that reflects beauty and truth. But this idea of I will find out there, I will find through my experience that which is already present. It's just astounding. It's just amazing that we're born and we forget so quickly, except for, you have this beautiful experience of being born awake and being able to hold on to that it just kept...
It was difficult when everyone tells you that. I thought it was normal.
Right.
It was hard because I've never had it's my first being human, and like how to be a girl. I remember when I heard a girl scream, I was 8. I was like, I want to be like that. I was very conscious of making sure that nobody knows I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And
that's what most of us are doing.
And then the one thing too is, as I was, for example, like learning language, I remember watching. I remember the body didn't understand the words, and all of a sudden it did. And I was like, how did that happen? And so the ego part, I thought, what is this body? It's like its own coding. Why doesn't it ever listen to me? I didn't realize that was called ego. Because it would go, it's you, but it's like goes in and out. Kind of like it listens, but this thing, ego is what it's called. It never listens to me. It's like, okay, why are you depressed? Why do you like that guy? Like, or there's all, but it is as much shadow, the light that casts the shadow, the wisdom, that it is the moment you find that light, it just makes it such an amazing experience, even if it's the littlest things. Yeah.
So let me ask you this. Since we're...
I want to go to the restroom. Where is the restroom?
Down to the left.
Okay, be right back.
Yeah. So... You're well versed in exploring edges in most of your life, right? What's your current challenge? What's and something that you probably already know the answer to, but to speak it to yourself. Yeah. What do you want to do? What 10% solution, what little thing do you want to bring your attention to, tweak, strengthen, to allow this to even be more resonant within your experience?
I guess, again, for the lack of a better word, this creation of the body, I want it to develop into its full potential. People have forgotten, as much as we aren't this, but they have also forgotten that it is of God, or it is God too. in
Yes.
a material aspect. And there's, I guess it's bringing the God, not only as God the man, but the physical also aspect, and how it's in a multidimensional reasons of why, because it affects obviously the planetary, the human consciousness, animals and everything, but it's more of, but it's hard because in every level you go to, the ego will appear, and how do you
Right.
master over that? Like you said, the spiritual ego.
So say it again. What's the current desire, the current where you're pointing your attention to say, yes, let's strengthen this part, or let's deepen, whatever the word is.
Yeah.
But your what's the edge you're working? Name it again.
It's more of the lack of better. It's not so much the constructs of what has been said, what this means. It's, I guess, self-mastery, meaning the full potential of what really we can be as a human. In all aspect, to where all of our chakras are fully developed
Yes.
properly, to be God-man, knowing that you are God of infinite being,
Right.
but the God-man physically also. And because it's so fascinating what this thing
the
can
potential.
do.
So what's the
And it
area?
represents, like, each part represents a part of God or universe, that, because it is a fractal, they're there for a reason, and each little thing represents something of the all.
Yeah.
So how do we go from zero and then just really develop it all the way through the physical manifestation? And, but at the same time mastering the ego, and at the same time seeing everyone as you. When I look at everything and everyone,
Right.
they're so, if they could only see
Right.
the lives they've been.
So for you, what do you already know? Again, because it is so much.
I know.
Right, okay. So because it is just, right, the potential is just endless, expansive, it's forever, it's eternal, it's infinite. So what for you, do you just want to gently point your attention to move you along in that journey of full potential? What's curious to you? What's resonant for you right now? What's alive in you that's saying, yeah, maybe, again, a little thing.
Yeah.
What's a little thing we can bring our attention to?
The only thing that brings me to that is just being present and really going with it. It's so simple, but everything is, and I want everyone to look, because you're the gateway and the key. And and everybody has their own. So that's really, and the only thing that causes it is it Rumi said yesterday I was wise or something, and I wanted to change the world, and then
Right.
that's
change.
really more right now is
Right.
because when I work on this, everything projects us around me.
What gets in the way of that? It can be a little thing.
Social, just having to pay to live in this planet is my big thing.
So looking at your life and your experience, because you get to make a choice. So we're talking about a choice point. What choice do you want to make that's going to help you to just unlock another little piece of it, to open you up?
Removing my fear.
Of?
Going to the next level. For some reason I have that, and I don't believe in myself. So that is, so I'm digging into that, to what it is, and I found out, which I thought was really hard to. It's just that I'm afraid of being my full potential.
Yeah. Okay, so here's a simple little thing. Just be present, as you know how to do. And just recognize very simply, there is the me, there is the I am afraid of my full potential, right? What is aware of that?
The higher self. Or the...
Mm-hmm. And you have a sense of, for you may or may not know an answer to this, but I'm just curious. Where is that higher self?
It's the observer.
Okay, now I want to make sure you're not just
Inside.
using... Right, now is that coming as a, you know that as a concept, you know that's true, or do you feel that?
I feel it.
Okay. Where is the observer?
It's inside the projection. It's me.
Mm-hmm.
It's what's behind the ego.
Very good. Okay. So for you, it feels like it's behind the ego. It's good to get a little bit of spatial relationship to some of these things, right? Because wherever it is, for me, it was here for a long time. My observer. And then there was the day that it went, okay, have you dissolved the ego enough so that the observer can said, okay, now let me just take up full residency. And in that, the fear goes. So here's what I'm going to invite you to, is just ask yourself and feel into. You recognize I, small I, am afraid of full potential. But there's the infinite, eternal observer, right? And am I not assuming, or am I assuming correctly that you have that sense of the observer is the infinite?
Yeah.
Okay. Is the observer scared?
No. It's almost, I don't know if ominous is the best word, but it's just
Omnipresent.
omnipresent.
Yeah.
It's just there.
Right. And it is not afraid.
No. It's created everything, so.
That's right. Right. It wants to play.
Yeah.
It wants you to play. What if you played with this idea of being maybe full potential?
Being your higher self.
Right.
Letting her be here.
It's very, sometimes it's funny because it's again, it's not impatient, but it says it's time.
Right.
So, and it's funny just observing the ego.
Mm-hmm. And who are you?
I'm everything. I'm everyone and everything. And
You are the observer, right?
Yeah.
You are the infinite, eternal. You are not the you that is afraid.
Yeah.
That is a projection.
Yeah.
Right? Now you get that. So just keep moving yourself. Keep seeing the difference. Wow, the projection is not real.
It is a beautiful. I have to say, it is a beautiful thing to watch.
Isn't it?
The play,
Yeah.
the funny.
So keep playing with it.
Dance, yeah.
Keep them separate, and keep moving back into the abiding in, knowing, deepening that relationship, cultivating that relationship with the truth. It is not afraid. It is excited.
Yeah.
Is my guess.
It's very, it's getting. It's like, come on, let's go.
So if you really know the truth of you, and I know you do, I am excited or I am afraid. Which is true and which is illusion.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the origins of that, and I'm almost there. I think it always goes back to the childhood.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter at all.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Let that go, because here's the deal. What the you that you think something happened to in childhood didn't actually happen to you.
Yeah.
It happened to the image of you. It happened to the idea of you.
Yeah.
But this observer, the infinite, eternal nature of you, totally unaffected by that. Totally.
Yeah.
So without conceptualizing it too much, just feel into You have an I that says, I am afraid. And you have an I that says, I am excited.
Yeah.
Right? Which one's true?
The observer is.
Do you feel that, or is that a concept?
It's what got me through the egos.
So in this
Going
moment,
through,
right now, in this moment, right now, what happens when you move from I am afraid, knowing, recognizing it's just a perception, it's a projection, it's an illusion, it's just a thought form, right? When you move from that into, no, I am excited.
Yeah.
Is that present right now?
Yes. And it always wins because no matter.
Okay, so don't speak about it.
Yeah.
This is what I'm going to invite.
Be with it.
You don't need to convince yourself of it. You don't need to do anything with it. Just know it. Love it. Be it. You've got such gifts, that you've been given to be able to parse those out and feel into those differences and such. My invitation is, it's so exciting to you, and it's such a mystery. There's so much to be known. I think there'd be value if you, even within yourself, go even more quiet with it. That might be the 10% solution. That might be if you were to do any one thing a little bit differently with a little bit more discipline or awareness, it might be, what if you just deepened it by not talking about it? Not even talking about it to yourself. Let the mind ask the question, what happens when I move into the true I? I'm excited, and then stop. Just live in it. Don't think about it, don't talk about it, just be in that. Does that resonate?
Yeah, that's what I was being told for the last 2 years. And this is the moving into to that, what you just said.
Exactly. It's been such a journey for you, and it's been such a mystery, and it's been so fascinating. So now you can start to move into a deeper trust that says you don't even need to explore it a whole lot with words anymore, even in your own head.
It's the isness.
Mm-hmm. Align with the isness. Be it. There's still part of you that wants to convince yourself. It's small.
Very small.
Yeah, very small.
But like a fruit fly.
So that's your opportunity. It's just there's a few fruit flies still hovering about. So just go quiet.
Thank you.
Yeah. Beautiful. Oh, that's just so beautiful. Mm.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you for all the wisdom, and thank you for listening.
Mm. Yeah, it's just a blessing. Wow. Does anything else want to be spoken before we close?
No.
So yeah, less definitions, right? Let's stop naming things so much in our lives. Just abiding in what we feel, what we resonate, what we know to be true. And cultivate that. Everything we practice grows stronger. And as this eclipse passes, recognizing that on the other side of the shadow, there's the brilliant light that's always been there. Just something passes between it. This is beautiful eclipse coming. We are like the earth, bathed in truth all the time. And then a thought form passes. Whoo, and it just blocks out the truth for a while. So still there. Let it pass.